everybody, I hope you've had a good week. I've got lots of things to tell you about this week. I want to tell you about some new sewing class opportunities. I also want to tell you about a new online digital sewing course that I've got coming out very soon. Last week I shared my second-hand September fabrics that I've collected over the years, and I committed to trying to work with some of them, so I'm going to share my plans and progress with those. And then lastly, I became the mom of 2 teenage children this week, so my son turned 13, which is very exciting. So to celebrate that in a bit of a sewing way, I thought I would share some ideas and some fabrics around the Joseph Jogger pattern. So this is a pattern that was named after him. So just to start with, like I said, I have now got some space on my 6-week dressmaking course. So the 6-week dressmaking course is a course where it's very tailored to you. So I'll work with you on whatever you're interested in learning. You work at your pace, at your level. It's, like I said, it's very much tailored to what you'd like to work on. So if you're a little bit more advanced, some people like to come and work on fitting and adapting patterns and altering patterns. Other people are fairly new to sewing and they like to work through the whole progress. Other people do some work at home and then bring the bits that they get stuck with to the class. So it's very much tailored to you. And it's a 6-week course. The availability I've got at the moment is on a Saturday afternoon. So if you are interested in coming along to that, feel free to get in touch. The classes are in Countersthorpe in Leicestershire, so if you're local to me, you're more than welcome to come along to that. The other thing that I've also got now, which I'm doing on a more regular basis, is single sessions. So these are sessions when sort of in the middle of a course, when somebody's booked to go away on holiday and the space is available for that one session. That's now listed as an opportunity for you to come along just to the one session. So those are all updated every week. So there's new dates every week when if somebody's away. So there are opportunities on a Wednesday and Thursday morning and a Wednesday and Thursday evening, and some Saturday afternoons, or you can block book the 6-week course. And the other thing that I do regularly is a full sewing day. So this happens once a month on a Friday at the moment, and the next one of these is coming up on September the 20th. So if you'd like to join me for that, it's the same sort of format as the courses, but you've just got a whole day to focus on sewing, so that's quite nice. And it's appealed to people that have to travel a little bit further afield. If for a ongoing course, it's a bit too much for somebody to travel too far, but yeah, with the full day it makes it a bit more worthwhile, I think. So those are the sewing opportunities, and then the other thing that I've been working on for quite a long time is my first digital course. Now this is going to be pitched at very, very complete beginners. So it's something that's still in the pipeline. I've still got some work to do on it. It's been on the cards for a long time, to be honest, but it's just been one of those projects that I've kind of gone 2 steps forward and 5 steps back because of loads of different reasons. But I feel like I'm finally getting there. So in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be looking for some testers. So if you feel that you fit the criteria, or you know somebody that might be interested, I will be publishing a bit more about this in my newsletter. So if you'd like to sign up to my newsletter, you can read all about the details. But yeah, it's going to be given out to 5 testers free of charge, in return for some information. So all of that I will talk about in my newsletter. So if you know somebody that's a complete beginner, and like I said, you don't ever have to have threaded a needle with this course, it's going to be starting right at the very beginning. The course, it also includes projects, so the patterns and the projects come with the course. So I will be telling you more about this, but I just want to let you know it's coming out very soon. So the next stage is going to be the testing, so that's what we're looking for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to share the progress of my September fabrics and my Joseph Jogger information that I promised. So I shall see you over on YouTube in a minute. So let's start with the Joseph Joggers. So some of you might know that I name my patterns after people that have inspired me, and I think inspiration comes in all shapes and sizes, and the big and the little inspirations are equally important. So I like to celebrate every kind of inspiration on my pattern names, but needless to say, my son is a very big inspiration. So the Joseph Joggers kind of came about really when he used to go to nursery, and he'd always come back with tears in his knees, and he was also very specific about what he liked to wear in terms of trousers. So he always used to call them his soft trousers. He didn't ever like anything that was tight round his tummy. He didn't like jeans because they were sort of too crisp and robust, so he really liked wearing joggers. So I was always trying to look for a way to make them a little bit more, fun and trendy, and just, a bit more smart sometimes, I guess. And the other thing was that I'd made lots and lots of clothes for my daughter, and I didn't want to treat my son any differently to my daughter, so I wanted to have the equal amount of opportunities to make him nice things as well. But although I've called them Joseph, they are completely unisex. So one of the features of the Joseph Jogger is the reinforced knee area. So this is optional, but this was one of the reasons why they became the Joseph Jogger, because his little knees, when he was like 3 or 4, would always be, grazed and sore, and I always felt a bit sad about his poor little knees, never mind about mending all the trousers as well. So they have got the option of having this knee area, and of course it's an opportunity to decorate it, or in this case here I've done lots of rows of stitching and I've reinforced it, I think, with a little bit of interfacing, so they're even more sturdy at that point. But just to go a little bit further into the book, you can see them there worn in a girly way by my daughter at the time. Was wearing a sparkly top and some sparkly trainers, which I don't think she'd wear that now, but a few years ago she loved all of that kind of thing. So they were a big success. They're very, very easy to make. With children's clothing, I like them clothes styles to be quite quick and simple in terms of patterns, because you don't want to be spending a long time making something for a child, in my opinion. And also you don't want them to grow out of it by the time you've finished it. So I quite like my patterns to be quick and simple. So the Joseph Joggers are exactly that. So they're very, very fast. And they also team up very nicely with the George hoodie or the Theodore sweatshirt. So those two patterns can make a kind of complete co-ord. So when I was thinking about this video, what I was thinking about was, the options for making a complete co-ord. So I've just pulled out some fabrics here. I got these at the end of season last year, but I've still got some in stock. So these are dead stock, really fun, funky prints. So it's a French Terrier. It's a really heavyweight jersey fabric. So this would be ideal for, I was thinking more in terms of the Theodore or the hoodie for this, and then coordinating with a plain for the Joseph Joggers. So in terms of plain fabrics that would work with this, I've got the plain navy organic sweatshirt fabric, so I think that would be a nice combination. And then in terms of ribs, I've got lots of different colours of ribs, but I just pulled this one out because it's that same light kind of teal colour. And I've also got this nice royal blue, which is in the colour in this print. So I was kind of thinking along the lines you could have, I mean, for little ones it's quite cute to have all over prints, so you might want to make the whole thing in something like this, or otherwise, like I said, you could use the plain navy for the joggers and then team it up with something like this for the sweatshirt. The other thing about the joggers, I don't know if I've got an actual picture of this, but they've got some little slant pockets, and what's quite nice little detail is to put the pocket bag in a coordinating colour, so you kind of get a flash of colour just at the side. So it's a nice little detail without, you know, taking too much effort or time, and it would work really nicely if you've got like a little coordinated top with that. So I just pulled these other colours out. This is another one from the Deadstock range, and I think this is really fun. It kind of reminds me of kids' toys from that sort of very young age group, which is just such a lovely fun age when they're sort of 4 or 5. And I thought that would work quite nicely with the bright green, if I can bring those both into the, quite heavy these bolts. There, those two together, and maybe coordinating with the royal blue rib would look quite nice. The size on this is from 12 months to 14 years. I would say, you know, it's like any sizing for adults clothing. They vary, sizes vary. I have got this 13-year-old son who is 2 inches taller than me, so even though he is only 13, he grew out of this pattern quite a few years ago, sadly. So this is standard, sort of a standard sizing, so I would always just recommend just checking the lengths and proportions, because like I said, all children do vary in sizes. You sometimes get very small children that might be just a you know, 3 or 4 year old on the waist and hip size, but they're actually 7 or 8, and their body length is a lot longer. So, but adaptations on children's clothing isn't too bad. They're very sort of up and down, quite simple. So it's more about the length than anything else, really, quite often. So yeah, those are some fabrics. I've just also got this lovely dark green actually that I was going to show you, which I thought would look quite nice with the colourful one. There are more colours of all of these, and I've also got some lovely pinks and lighter colours. I've got a true lovely khaki, and this would definitely be approved of by Joseph because it's very, very soft on the back. So I think this would make a lovely pair of Joseph joggers. I promised I would share my second-hand September progress and updates. In truth, I haven't done any sewing whatsoever for any of this, but I have made some plans and narrowed down what I'm going to work on. It's not going to be realistic that I'm going to get all of this done in September, but I think I've kind of got some bite-sized bits that I can work with for the rest of the year anyway. But I thought I'd start by just showing you the progress on the sari, because I had started that last week, but I didn't want to share it at that point, so I thought I'd share it this week. So with this, I didn't really have enough fabric to do what I planned to do, but I was a bit determined to carry on and try and do it anyway. So what I did was I adapted, you might have seen it on my social media, it's a navy blue tencel dress that I made a version for me from a pattern that I made for Love Sewing magazine. It was printed in it was a pink viscose in the magazine. So I adapted the shape of that to have an opening down the front, and then I adapted the sleeves to have a lot more volume in them. And what I wanted to do, I was kind of inspired by I don't know if you've seen the Farm Rio brand, and they've got lots of kind of bright colours and mixes of prints and sort of pattern clash and all sorts of things, but I don't know, somehow it looks really modern and I really like it. So I was inspired by that, and so what I decided to do was pipe with the gold binding and a pink binding to kind of pull out the colours from the skirt. I have had to completely unpick this once already because I was kind of skimping on the binding that I had, so I bought some more and did it properly. I don't exactly know if this has worked yet. It's not fixed at the back at the moment, but the plan is to button the front with some little gold and silver, gold and pink enamelled buttons that I found on Etsy, and use the same piping on the sleeves. And if it all works out okay, I will show you me wearing it. The other thing I did do was I cut a false hem band, which I've kind of picked out the green, which was the closest colour I had, to keep the length and also to give it a bit of weight at the bottom. So it's in progress. Like I said, I didn't quite have enough, so I've had to kind of infill here with a little piece of the print because there wasn't enough length and I really didn't want it too short. So I'm kind of happy with how it's going, but it's kind of the next stage will be the crucial make or break stage. So that's one. I have decided not to work on the embroidered tablecloths at all at the moment because I feel like I'm not that inspired to do that. The one thing I do feel like doing is this. So I have been making, and again I really don't get much time to do any sewing, so this has been on the agenda for a little while. I've made, is it the Archie shirt? I started making that in a red linen, and initially I thought I'd be wearing it like this. The red linen one isn't finished, so I'm thinking if I can finish it, I can decide if I'm going to use this pattern for the basis for this rather funky flower sack. So I just this just kind of intrigues me and gets my creativity flowing a little bit, so I just really want to see what that's like, but I feel like that might be quite a good combination. I also found this blue kind of chambray left over from something, and I thought that would blend with it quite well, so I've kind of got the fabric ready to go for that, so I kind of want to do that one. And then the next one that I am planning to do a toile for is my printed wool blanket. So with this I'm planning to send it to the dry cleaners I think next week and just check that nothing terrible is going to happen to it when it gets cleaned, and then I'm going to work on a toile. And a while ago I made a patchwork, a kind of patched together denim jacket out of jeans that I'd collected for 17 years. And every now and again I dip into it, my big box of denim, and make something. So I made this full coat, and I thought I'd use the pattern I made for that as the basis for this coat. The one thing I did do though, which I've got a little bit wrong I think, is I ordered some bias binding with a plan to bind all the internal seams, and the colour that's come is this really lovely teal colour, but somehow I don't love it as much as I love that really bright turquoise that's on the bottom here. And I also bought one skein of embroidery thread, and again don't actually love this as much as the true turquoise, so I think I'm going to have to think again on the colours. But at the moment I'm going to try and make the toile, which I don't think will be too bad because I'm really just going to make a wrap front for the button front coat, which is just really a case of extending the front. So I just want to toile it and check, because I know this is going to have quite dressing gowny kind of vibes, and I've got to check that it's still going to be wearable for a coat. So yeah, that was all my plans and sewing news for this week. So hopefully I'll see you again next week.